Hey you guys, what's up? So I'm gonna show you my current go-to quarantine makeup routine. It kind of rhymed. With being in the house, I am working from home and I'm not having to be like fully ready all the time. Just don't feel like doing my full glam that I would normally do when I go to work. So it was my goal during this stay-at-home thing to simplify my makeup routine, just kind of lighten it up a little bit, but still, you know, be presentable. And then also, my skin went through something crazy, so I kind of didn't have a choice. So if you want to see my simplified go-to quarantine makeup routine, that could be a song. And if you want to hear what's been going on with my skin, then keep watching. Let's get started. So if you've been following me for a while, get to it, Sabrina. You've seen this little guy before. This is what I use to put my hair back when I'm doing my makeup. So I figured might as well just do that. Okay. As I talked about in my intro, with being inside, I haven't been wearing a lot of makeup anyway. Like, clearly I'm makeup free right now. And for a few reasons. One, because I'm not having to go to the office at work. So a lot of the times if I'm just doing like office work at home, or if I'm not teaching an online acting class, I don't have to wear makeup. So I've not been. I think I only wear makeup right now like maybe twice a week at most. So the thing that I wanted to do was simplify my makeup routine. And the other reason why is because, again, if you've been following me for a long time, you know that I used to struggle really bad with cystic and hormonal acne. Now that that's pretty much under control, knock on wood, which while being in quarantine, I developed something called perioral dermatitis. And you're probably like, oh, what is that? And turns out a lot of people actually are going through it right now. So I, about 3 weeks ago, started experiencing these really weird like flare-ups like right here and like right under my eye. And so I contacted my dermatologist, and it's called perioral dermatitis. It's a skin flare-up that has like no real cause. And you get like redness, flakiness, dryness, burning, itching, and I had it all. And so I actually had to get on oral medication for it and like a prescribed cream. I've had so many issues with my skin. It was like, in my head, I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna be in the house, my skin's gonna be makeup free, my skin's gonna look so good. No, it went the exact opposite. So on the days that I do have to wear makeup, I know this is like a running story, I wanted it to be like very light, not invasive, not heavy. I'm gonna start with, I always use this primer. This is the Smashbox, the original Photo Finish Smooth and Blur Primer. So, got my brushes here. I love this primer. I've been using it for years. And to apply my primer, I use the e.l.f. foundation brush. This brush is probably like $2 at Walmart, Target. It's super cheap. I'll try to link everything that I've used today, including brushes, or something close to it if they don't carry it anymore. I apply my primer with a brush because I know a lot of people, and I only put like the tiniest little bit. I don't know if you can see that. It's like the size of like a corn kernel. I only do a little bit, especially with being inside. I don't really need a lot, just enough to kind of keep my makeup in place. Oh, and before this, just so you know, I did all of my normal skincare. So washed my face, toner, eye cream, moisturizer. I did the prescribed cream in the areas that I had the rash, or the perioral dermatitis. If you're like, why I don't see any of it, it's because a lot of it has gone away. This has been going on for a few weeks now, and luckily the oral medication that was prescribed to me and the cream has really died it down. I'm just putting a little bit where I was going with the foundation brush. I've seen a lot of people that do makeup online use their hands a lot for putting on primer, and for me, like anytime I like touch my face turns red and is irritated. And I've always been taught to just like try not to touch your face, especially now with like all the germs and stuff going around. Like, why would you want to touch your face more than you should. So I just use a brush. It's more sanitary. I clean my brushes once a week, so yeah. Anyway, so primer is on. So typically now what I'll do is I'll like prime my eyelids, but like not with an eye primer, with a little concealer, because as you can see, my eyelids like have redness and you could see my veins. Not that that's bad, it's just like I like a nice even canvas when applying makeup. So I take the NARS Light to Vanilla Soft Matte Complete Concealer, and I use the IT Cosmetics N212 Essential Concealer Brush to kind of just conceal my eyelids. So I'm just gonna do that real quick. I just apply a little thin layer. Eyelids are primed, concealed. I always take a little bit of translucent powder. I'm using the Tarte Smooth Operator Amazonian Clay Loose Finishing Powder. I have been, by the way, guys, all of this makeup that I'm about to talk to you about, other than a couple things, I have been using for years and have never let me down. I'm not someone that like changes foundations all the time or uses a different powder every day. Like, by the way, there's like almost nothing left in here, so I'm trying to get the rest of it out. I use a lot of the same products all the time. Also, because I'm talking a lot in between, this go-to makeup routine typically only takes me about like 10 to 15 minutes when I'm not yapping so much, but I wanted to at least give you like the reasoning behind what I'm doing, what I'm using, what I'm going through with my skin. But yeah, normally this makeup routine takes me like most 15 minutes, sometimes a little less, sometimes a little more if I'm being slow. But yeah, so we're gonna take just a little bit of the Smooth Operator Translucent Powder from Tarte, and I just take it on a Morphe M554 eye brush. This is like for typically powder underneath your eye. And I love it for setting the concealer on my eyelid, just a little bit. Okay, so now that that's done, I'm gonna probably speed up this process because this is the part that literally makes or breaks how long my makeup routine is. It's the eyebrows. So I have been, again, striving for a lighter, more natural, just less heavy look. So I'm gonna show you what I use and then just kind of speed through this. I use the Anastasia Medium Brow Powder Duo in medium, did I just say that? The Anastasia Brow Powder Duo in medium brown. That is a lot of verbiage on the back of that, like holy smokes. And I use the Anastasia, what the heck brush is this? I don't even know what number this is, but it came with the powder. So I'll try to look it up to see which one. It used to, you know what? It used to be on the side. I think it just came off. But it's the thinner version of the eyebrow brushes. I think they have a couple, like 2, maybe 3. And this is like the smaller, thinner one. It's an angled brush. I use only the dark side. I don't use the light side. I used to, and then I realized my eyebrows looked patchy. So I only use the dark side, and I fill in the areas that are sparse. So I'm just gonna do that. I'll be back. So now that the eyebrows prime is all done, now we go to foundation. So these are the 3 things that I use for foundation. Not all at once, but I either use a beauty sponge, the Y6 from Morphe, or recently, if you saw my Ulta video, the Jaclyn Hill X Morphe Cream Blender. During this quarantine, I have not really touched a foundation brush. One, because for my skin type and for my foundation, brushes add more coverage. I want a lighter coverage. For the foundation that I use, which I'm going to talk about, and my skin condition right now, and the kind of coverage that I want, why am I out of breath? I'm sitting. Weird. I use a sponge. I love the EcoTools blender. It is so good. And I use the Smashbox Studio Skin 24-hour Wear Hydrating Foundation. I am a doo-doo-doo, and I did not wet this yet, so I'm gonna go do that, and I will be right back. Okay, so back in biz, went ahead and put this under the sink, wring it out. Now we're gonna use my foundation. I'm trying to use as least foundation as possible because we're in the house, don't need a lot. You kind of get the gist that I'm going with. I always start with my forehead, and I put it on the beauty blender. It's not a beauty blender, the Eco Tools sponge. I don't like putting foundation on my face and then blending. It just, for me, I don't like that. So I put it on the sponge and then I go at it. Just do like medium pressure. See, I do another little dollop and I just go at it. Another reason why I've been really careful with what I've been doing with my skin is right now I have the perioral dermatitis out under control, and I don't want to do anything that's gonna like aggravate it. So for me, in my mind, I feel like using a foundation brush with like stippling or rubbing would just cause some irritation, and I don't want to do that. So again, I'm just gonna kind of repeat this, just add a little bit as I go along. Okay, so once I feel like my face is pretty covered, you'll see that I could still see some imperfections. Like I have acne scarring from when I had my hormonal acne, so like some of it is still there. And normally on a day that I would do like full coverage like makeup, I would go in again with maybe another layer or really layer up my concealer when I get to that point. But since, like I said, I'm in the house, I'm trying to keep my routine as simple as possible. I do put the tiniest bit on the blender and just go down my neck so I don't look like a floating head. And I just go a little bit down here. So back to concealer. I go ahead and take my concealer brush that I talked about before, just take a little bit and start concealing my under eye. Y'all, my dark circles are so bad. They've always been. And again, it's not anything that I'm like self-conscious about, because like that's life. But man, sometimes I'm like, girl, who punched you in your sleep? Yourself? So I just kind of conceal the darkness. What I love about being in the house is like your makeup routine doesn't have to be perfect. So you see, I'm just kind of, I'm not being precise. See, I'm literally, like I'm not even taking much at all on my brush. And it's pretty much concealed. Conceal, don't feel. Frozen, right? Don't let them know. Oh, such a good song. So then I take a different concealer brush for the imperfections on my face. And honestly, I kind of want to leave it alone because on a day that I've been in the house, I kind of do leave some of the imperfections alone, but I'm just going to show you how I would conceal it if I wanted to, because like I have a little dot right there and I have a little dot right there. I take the same concealer with the Expert Concealer Brush by Real Techniques, and if you could see, it's kind of like a little dome, and the fibers are really packed in there. They're not flexible. And I just take a little bit and I need the mirror, kind of dot it over the imperfections just to kind of add a little bit more coverage. Again, I pick and choose when I want to do this. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I will for the sake of the video. Oh look, I just saw another one right there. So we're just gonna get that real quick. Done. I decided to open up that other powder because the other one is like basically empty. So this is what it normally looks like. And I'm going to just take the tiniest bit of powder, like literally the tiniest bit, just set that under eye concealer, just a tiny bit. Again, I don't want a lot of coverage. And even though translucent powder, like straight translucent powder, doesn't add a lot of coverage, for my skin, it kind of does. So I used that same Morphe M554 brush. I'm gonna switch to the powder brush by Real Techniques. It's the 201. It's a big fluffy brush. And again, I'm gonna just take a little bit and just set my face. Just a little. Again, not to add like a ton of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like matteness, but I swear, you guys, I know what I'm talking about. I just can't find the right words today. Next, we're gonna do light, very light eyeshadow. So my brother got me the Shade and Light eyeshadow palette a couple years ago for Christmas, and I love him for that. So what I like to do on a natural in the house quarantine day, I take this little e.l.f. professional eyeshadow brush. Dang, I use a lot of e.l.f. products, don't I? And I take the shade, what shade is this? Succubus? I take the cream shade, the matte cream shade. What I love about this palette, it is all matte. It's so good. So I take just that middle shade and I coat it on both ends of the brush and I put it all over my lids. Like I like a completely matte lid. You see how just that concealer really helped just create evenness over the whole lid? And so we just add as we go. And now my lid is done. So then I take it, and I just rub it a little bit on a Kleenex. I just have a couple Kleenex tissues right here. And I take the white, the pure white that's a few shadows down. And again, I kind of lightly press it on both sides, and I do under my brow bone, and I bring it down to like where my crease meets my brow bone. So then I take the Morphe M441. It's a basic crease blender. Again, I talked about these brushes in my recent Ulta haul, and I mix the biggest middle shade, like the crease shade, and the first warm brown shade. So I take that cool brown and that warm brown, and I mix them together just to add a little depth to my crease. Because sometimes when you don't put a crease color in, even on a natural day, I just feel like, see, like, look at the difference. This eye just has a little bit more life to it. This eye, I feel like would be fine with a little mascara, but it's just not doing enough for me. So I feel like adding a little bit of a neutral crease just makes it come together, you know? And I just kind of build it up to where I want it. So then I just go to the other eye. I pick up the same two shades, boop, boop. Sometimes I go a little ham and I kind of accidentally cover up my lid color, so I'll go back and just freshen up that lid. See how much, like, I don't know, I just feel like the crease color just adds that dimension. So once I'm done with that, I take another e.l.f. brush. This is the, oh, the name came off. Anyway, I take those same two neutral colors that I used in my crease and I just drag them on my lash line. And sometimes I like just kind of wipe it so that it's not so intense. See how it just kind of like pulls it together? So there's that. Next, I normally go to bronzer. And if you watch any of my other videos, you know I love bronzer and blush. The one thing I've done to simplify my quarantine makeup routine is to make my blush my bronzer and vice versa. So I only use, instead of doing a blush and a bronzer, the Milk Chocolate Soleil Too Faced, I think this is the light. Yeah, this is like the light to medium bronzer, and I take my bronzer brush, which is another e.l.f. brush, e.l.f. Professional Total Face Brush, and I swirl it around, tap, and I just do the perimeter of my face like I normally would. And then I take, actually I learned this from Kim Kardashian. She does her bronzer in a 3 shape, so like boom, boom. And let me tell you how that has changed my bronzer game. So I take the bronzer and I go on the perimeter and I bring it to my cheekbones as if it were blush. See that? And then I take it to my jawline and I start going to the other side. So then I kind of like go backwards. And then I make the 3 on this side. But again, take the bronzer and I just tap, because again, you could have a mess if you add too much powder products. So I literally make the bronzer my blush. I do a little bit down my nose just so that it's like even. And then I do my neck. I just bring this down, and like, look how the bronzer just like pulls the face together, and it dupes, it doubles as blush. Is that the same thing as a dupe? I don't know. Next thing I do is mascara. So I use, this is the Benefit Roller Lash. I don't know why I was looking at the bottom. It only comes in black and I think brown now maybe. So I swirl. I love this bristle. I mean this brush. And then I'm gonna get a little close. And no matter what, you guys, this is the one thing that hasn't changed in my quarantine makeup routine, and I'll tell you what that is. I'm a mascara junkie. I layer up my mascara as if it was like the last day I'd ever wear mascara. There's two things that I love in life, in makeup life, and that's blush and mascara. And concealer. If I had to live on blush, mascara, and concealer, I was trying to envision it in my head, I would be just fine. It's like, you know, when people ask you, like, if you were deserted on a desert island, what makeup products would you bring? I'd be blush, concealer, and mascara. I feel like you could do anything with those three. You could even put, you guys, blush on like your nose, your forehead. I would drown myself in blush if I could. That's something that Kylie and I have in common. She loves blush. Anyway, I just love mascara. So that's the one thing that I still apply heavily, no matter if my makeup routine is light or crazy. I love a lot of mascara. Okay, so as you can see, I like a lot of mascara, and that's just who I'm gonna be whether I'm in quarantine or not. Once I'm done with that, I will do one of two things. Either I will be done and then do my setting spray, or I'll put a little highlighter on. So this is what it would look like if I didn't put any highlighter on. I love it just like this. I don't really feel like it needs any more, but again, just for the sake of this video, if I did want to put any highlighter on, these are like the only two highlighters that I've been using a lot. Wet n Wild Mega Glow Illuminating Palette. Can't y'all just say like highlighter? And it's freaking fantastic. This is $4.99 at the drugstore. And then this is the Flower Beauty Shimmer, oh my God, Shimmer and Strobe Highlighting Palette. And I love this one. So with this particular makeup routine, I've been using this palette. So for me today, I think we're gonna go with, I'm gonna do the Champagne. And this is the Morphe R36. And I'm gonna literally, you guys, like, look, watch. That's like all. And I just go down my nose. You see how it just adds like a little life? And then again, I'm just like barely dusting. And I'm gonna take just the slightest bit. And then I'm gonna do a little bit on my forehead, kind of drag it into my hairline. So that is what I would do with highlighter. It's super subtle. Either way, whether I put highlighter on or not, I always use a little setting spray. This is the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea 4-in-1 Setting Mist. This normally comes in a bigger size. I wanted the big size because I run out of this so fast, but they were sold out online. Okay, so we're gonna spray. Ooh. And then normally I would fan myself with my hands, but I bought this at the dollar store the other day. And we're just gonna be fabulous. I saw so many YouTubers do this and I'm like, I wanna be like them. Dollar store haul is coming. BTW, spoiler alert. Okay, so here we go. We're done. Okay, so here we go. Here is my quarantine makeup look. What do you think? So I feel like from here it looks like a full beat, but when I get closer, it's definitely not. I mean, it's my routine, but simplified. You know what I'm saying? And this is what I've been doing for, like I said, when I have to be presentable when I work from home. This is what I will wear. Anyway, this is the final look. I'm really happy with how this came out. If you guys want to see more videos like this, let me know. And if you are interested in any of these products, I will link them in the description box, as well as the video of the makeup brushes and some of the recent Ulta stuff that I bought. But thank you guys so much for sticking around. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe. We are so close to 1,000 subscribers and it's because of you guys, so thank you. Other than that, I will see you guys soon.